Want a swig of whiskey? If it's Sunday, depending what state you're in, you may not buy this bottle. That's because Sunday is a day of worship. You're supposed to be in a Christian church. But wait a second, aren't we supposed to have religious freedom in America? Some religions worship on different days. And also, even if you go to church Sunday, why can't you buy a bottle after church? Because blue laws, which date back to colonial times, still ban that in a dozen states. Originally, they outlawed regular Sunday work. No buying, no selling, traveling, public entertainment, or sports even. They're called blue laws because, well, that's not clear. Some say it's because Connecticut printed them on blue paper. Others say blue means rigidly moral, as in blue nose. Who knows the reason? But at least there are fewer blue laws now. But the fact they still exist in many places is very wrong, says Reason Magazine editor Catherine Mangu-Ward. Why? Just wait a day.
You know, the idea that there is somehow a law that, by prohibiting me from getting the ingredients for my mimosas on Sunday morning, that's standing between me and a life of sin and degradation, I have to say it's too little too late. I mean, there's really, there's sort of this funny, archaic thing that remains in place.
But for the greater good, if instead of making mimosas Sunday morning, maybe that'll encourage some people to go to church and they'll be better people because of it.
The idea that people shouldn't want to work or buy on a Sunday morning is just as paternalistic and offensive as saying go to church.
Well, it's fine if they don't want to, but to tell them you may not is the big difference. And it's not just liquor, it's also car dealerships are required to close. I mean, 12 states prohibit Sunday liquor sales. We put those names up. 13 states outlaw car dealerships from opening on Sunday, and they are often different states.
There's this very weird, in the case of liquor sales, it's a literal Bootleggers and Baptists coalition, but with car sales too.
But slow down. Bootleggers and Baptists, explain that.
The political scientist Bruce Yandel, who pointed out that often when we have laws that are for your own good, something that has kind of moral overtones, you should look and see if there's someone who can gain financially from those laws. It's a little hard to see how businesses would gain from being required to be closed, but what actually happens in the case of these blue laws is that they're protecting themselves from competitors. Your little local liquor store doesn't want to open up on Sunday and pay workers overtime, whereas the Total Beverage around the corner or the Walmart has no trouble doing that. So they're keeping themselves protected from competition. Just like
Baptists and bootleggers work to preserve alcohol prohibition because the Baptists thought it was moral and the bootleggers were making money.
It's always a very powerful political coalition.
Here's another blue law. In some states, you may not sell stuff on Thanksgiving. That ban may have led to some of the craziness that's happened in the next state, the big shopping day often called Black Friday. To get around some of this badness, some stores started opening earlier on Thanksgiving Day, but Thanksgiving's a time we're supposed to be with our family. So
in Maine, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, it is against the law for stores to be open on Thanksgiving, thanks to Puritan-inspired blue laws.
People, it's baked in, have always had this temptation to let work crowd out all the other things that matter. Family, faith, and they have to be told again and again, knock it off, don't work. It's interesting. You think people are lazy, but they work too much.
Americans work too much.
Maybe, but they should certainly be able to choose their own days off. The idea that somehow a bunch of guys in a state capital somewhere know what's best for us in terms of, how many days off we take and when we take them.
Isn't it best for us if we're home together on Thanksgiving and not out shopping for commercial crass stuff?
I don't know. It depends on what home is like on Thanksgiving, I suppose.